In an unexpected yet historically apt twist, Boris Johnson and Nigel Farage's cheerleading for Donald Trump's potential trade deal with the UK has added another chapter to the peculiar narrative of world politics. One can almost hear the whispered echoes of the Tempest as Boris Johnson invokes a spirit of opportunism, a nod perhaps to Shakespeare's misery acquaints a man with strange bedfellows. The statement, penned in 1610, has resonated through the centuries as an apt descriptor for alliances forged in the tumult of political necessity and personal ambition, often literally in the bedchamber. It's extraordinary that way back in the Middle Ages, it was customary for people who were travelling to share a bed. Strange bedfellows was literally a reality. It's a phrase which has come down in history, of course, and probably by the Tudor times it was probably less likely that you would be sharing a bed with somebody you didn't know. But it was customary, certainly, lodging in an inn or with a friend to share the same bed, and even kings like Richard I and Philip of France and popes famously shared beds with their allies. So Richard and Philip got into bed together. I think it possibly even casts a question mark over the relationship between Gaveston and Edward II. It was simply it was as common to share a bed as it was to go into the second sleep, the first sleep, the pause, the midnight feast, or if you're a monk, go off and pray, and then the second sleep. It was as customary as the fashion of sleeping in a sitting position for fear of dying if prone, and Johnson thinks that Trump will anticipate, will edge in because the Labour government, he says, is too pathetic to seek a deal itself with Trump. Trump will take the initiative, and that must be quietly satisfying. And Boris, ever the historian, he knows well that the strange bedfellows is more than a metaphor, and it describes the interaction of trusted confidence, often sharing action. I'm not suggesting for 1 minute that Trump's going to climb into bed with Sir Keir Starmer. It's or that Boris is going to climb into bed with Nigel Farage or somebody, but the communal bed was this realm of whispered confidences and midnight diplomacy, born as much out of necessity of space as of camaraderie. Fast forward to today, where the proverbial bed is this, isn't it? This is our bedchamber, where whispered nothings and diplomacy can be plotted. This machine occupied by the likes of Johnson, Farage, Trump, and shockingly now, Belarus's Lukashenko, the self-styled woodsman, praising Trump as a political powerhouse. It's ironic to see Lukashenko, the iron-fisted Belarusian leader, tyrant, embrace Trump as a figure deserving of a Nobel Peace Prize for a potential resolution to the Ukraine conflict. The statement, as surreal as it may sound, draws on the shared affinity for anti-establishment braggadocio. Lukashenko's praise, delivered with the rustic charm of a wood-chopping backdrop, underscores that in politics alliances are as much about shared enemies as about shared values, and Nigel Farage's urging to roll out the red carpet for Trump is a testimony to his enduring belief in the Anglo-American bond, forged in trade, defence, and a shared scepticism about the EU and socialism. This kinship is bolstered by Trump's admiration for tariff as the most beautiful word in the dictionary, a stance that alarms British exporters. Yet, as Boris deftly puts it, Trump might just surprise with a deal that, paradoxically, secures Britain's post-Brexit dreams. Something ought to. So far we've got nothing to shout about Brexit. The Labour Party, represented by Keir Starmer and haunted by David Lammy's scathing critique of labelling Trump a sociopath, now faces an awkward recalibration. Kemi Badenoch's call for an apology frames this as not just a matter of statesmanship but of strategic foresight. The price of diplomacy may demand uncomfortable concessions. Lukashenko's audacious commentary, therefore lauding Trump for outlasting perceived political martyrdom. They shot him, they pressured him, seems almost Shakespearean in its hyperbole, reinforcing the notion that politics indeed makes for the strangest of companions. And as Lukashenko said, America isn't ready for a woman. In a tableau where Boris's bluster, Farage's populist instincts, Trump's unpredictability, Lukashenko's autocratic cheer of tyranny converge, a coalition not of shared virtues but of circumstantial experience, a triumvirate of need. In this dance of alliances, it remains to be seen whether Britain will seize this opportunity with alacrity, or, as Boris predicts, watch from the sidelines, restrained by what he calls Starmer's cautious disposition. For now, the world watches with a mix of apprehension and bemusement as old phrases and strange alliances echo back from the past into a chaotic and uncertain present.